I mean, you've covered so much here. This is so rich and so helpful. And it makes me think of this great line from your book, which is, so many of us are leading limited lives, not because we have to, but because we think we have to. And I love that you're examining all of these limiting beliefs and the power that they have in our lives, because when we have folks in our program, that's what we really start with. We work with the judgments, the limiting beliefs, and also, connecting to the emotions as well, working with those traumatized parts that are still very young and just, are stuck in that programming.
Yes.
So I guess I wanted to ask, for folks who are listening who want to start doing this work and start becoming more conscious and more mindful, some practical tips. So obviously I know things, like daily meditation, stilling your mind. That's a really helpful way to start being conscious. But just for folks who are listening at home, what would you suggest if they're like, I want to take the red pill, I want to wake up?
Okay. The first thing is this, is to first identify, where are your limitations? Because then you can say, well, this is what I want to change. And that's why I said, well, the first thing is easy. Just look at your life and tell me where you're struggling. That's a limitation.
Yep.
And then I said, well, I want to change that. And I go, oh, well, so you want to change the program in the subconscious. I go, here's what the biggest problem is. Number one, people say, oh, your mind is in control. I go, yeah, your mind is in control. But actually, there are two parts to your mind. There's the conscious and the subconscious. Now, when we put them together and say the mind, then we think it should operate as one uniform thing. If my conscious becomes aware, then my subconscious should become aware as well, because they're the same thing. I go, that is the biggest problem of all. And that is, the two minds have two different functions, and they learn in different ways. That's where the problem comes from. So I say, okay, what are the functions? Conscious mind, the newest addition, which is part of your brain right behind your forehead, prefrontal cortex is the seat of it. Conscious mind's function is creativity. That's why humans are so different than other animals, because we have such a creative mind. Because the subconscious mind behind it is the habitual mind, habit.
Right.
Whatever you learn, you're going to repeat that. That's what habits are all about. Okay, but conscious mind's creative and says, yeah, but I could look at it this way, change the way I look at it, and decide to do it this way. I go, fine. Conscious mind can do that. But I said, then the problem is, when the conscious mind's thinking, then you're not in control anyway. So you're going to revert right back to the subconscious. So you say, I want to change the subconscious. So I say, okay, subconscious habit mind, conscious is creative. Then I say, well, what do you want to change? And that's where we say, okay, go look at your life and say, what is it that's missing that you want? So now I say, I want love. Okay, good. I want love. I say, so what am I going to do with my subconscious mind? Well, my subconscious mind in some way is limiting me because I'm not finding it. So I say, okay, so I want to change it. And I want to put in a program of love. I say, well, how can I change my subconscious mind? I go, first, the conscious mind, because it's creative. Let me just explain the beautiful part of a creative mind.
Okay.
Any way you put information in, that thing can download it. Read a self-help book. Listen to this podcast, and I can go, wow, my conscious mind just heard Bruce talk about this. I got it.
Yeah.
I say, watch a video, read a self-help book. I say, look, you can read a self-help book. And I say, did you understand it? I give you a quiz. You get 100. You say, okay, I understood the book. And I say, now that you've read the self-help book, is your life any different? The answer is nope. But I could pass the test. I know it. My conscious mind knows the information, but my life is still the same. I go, why? The answer is this: because the conscious mind's creative mode allows it to learn in many different ways. It can just go, aha, and change the belief. I can change my belief by, I just changed it. It's creative. Subconscious is habit. I go, why is that important? Because if I have a habit, I don't want it to change. I learned how to walk before I was 2. What the hell do I want to wake up one day and forget how to walk? No. I don't want all of a sudden to say, oh, geez, I'm really walking funny today. I must have lost how to walk, my mind how to walk. It's like, no. So the point is this: subconscious mind resists change.
Yes.
So the conscious mind can learn all the, oh, wow, this is really what I want. This is how to do it. And this is great. And I go, yeah, but I still have the same life. Why? Because 95% of the day, you're not operating from the creative conscious mind. You're operating from subconscious. And no matter how smart the conscious mind got, it did not change the subconscious, because the subconscious learns in 3 primary ways. 3.
Okay.
Number 1, how did it learn the first 7 years? Hypnosis. The brain was in theta. Vibrational state, EEG, electroencephalograph, brain activity, theta. It's just below consciousness. But that's subconscious. So I say, for 7 years, you were operating from subconscious. I say, how does it work? It's like a video recorder. Whatever I saw my parents, whatever I observed their behavior, how they responded to each other, how they responded to me, how they responded to the neighbors, how they responded to police, how they respond to every situation. I learned by just watching. So I downloaded that. Okay. And I say, well, if you want to put it in programs, then hypnosis is a good way to do it, because that was the primary way. I said, well, how do you do hypnosis? You go, well, you go hypnotherapist. I go, wait, you can do it yourself. You go, I can hypnotize myself. I go, yeah, because every night when you're just falling asleep, when conscious mind, the alert mind starts to let go, that's when sleep kicks in. But as the conscious mind just lets go, the subconscious mind kicks in. So just when you're going to sleep and the conscious mind lets go, you're a period of time, you're operating from theta. That's the same vibration that you operated in the first 7 years. Point. If I put on a pair of earphones and I'm playing a program of a behavior that I want this behavior, and there are programs, you can buy them all over there, self tapes or whatever this, programs.
Sure.
You can buy them. And I say, every night I put this on as I go to bed. I put the earphones on as I go to bed. As soon as my alpha mind lets go, I'm in theta, which is hypnosis. So whatever the heck is playing through the earphones is not going into my conscious mind. It's going into my subconscious mind. That's called auto-hypnosis. You don't need to go see anybody. You just have to look at your life, say, I want to change this program. I would like my program to be like this. I say, oh, here's a program, a CD, and it's got that program on it. So if I play it when I'm going to bed, I'm not even conscious when it's going in. I'm asleep when it's going in. So that's number one way. Hypnosis, auto-hypnosis programs, self-empowerment programs. Number two, once you're past 7, the subconscious still learns, but not through hypnosis, but through repetition. How many times did you have to say ABC before you could get to Z? You repeated it and you repeated it, and every time you add a new letter, you got it. Oh yeah, I got the next one. Okay, I repeat it, and then guess what? When you got to Z, you could sit here and go A all the way to Z. You never had to do it again, because by what? Repetition, practice. I've learned it, and once I've learned it, I don't have to go through the ABCs again. I got it in my head. Okay, math tables. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 8. I say, how'd you do that? I say, you memorized it. Okay, this is how I do it, just like I did the alphabet. Memorize, repeat, habituate. How'd you drive a car? I got in the car, and at first it was my conscious mind, because I had no subconscious program, and my conscious mind was overwhelmed. Why? Look out the window and see what's going on. Look in the mirror, see what's going on. Look at the gauges on the dashboard, see what's going on. Notice the pedals on the floor. Listen to the engine and what's going on. I go, for some people, when they first get in the car, it's like, that's too many things to pay attention to.
That's me.
But then I say, you've driven the car now for a period of time. And guess what? Now you get in the car, you never think of one of those things. Why? It's automatic. You put the key in the ignition, and you could be thinking of, okay, when I get to the store, I'm going to get this, and when I get that. Or the story that, and this is a very helpful story. You're in the car. You have a passenger. You've been driving for a while. And you get in this conversation, it's so cool, back and forth, talk. And then you look out the window and you realize, I haven't paid attention to the road for the last 5 minutes. I've been talking.
Yep.
Okay. And it could come across your mind like, wow, I'm still on the road. I didn't hit anything. I'm still, okay. I'm still driving. I haven't paid attention. I go, okay, who drove the car? I say, autopilot, subconscious. Why? Because the conscious was directed over here, focused on a conversation. I go, and I say, well, autopilot drive the car. I say, yeah, it's 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. It's 1,000,000 times better driving the car once you gave it the program. Okay. So I go, but here's the part that I need. This is like the Bill story again.
Okay.
I say, okay, you just were talking for 10 minutes. You had this wonderful conversation. Tell me what you were talking about. Oh, we talked about this and this and this and this and this. I go, great. Now I say, and tell me what was on the road as you were driving. No idea. The same story as Bill. when you're thinking or focus in a conversation and not paying attention, the subconscious takes over. Yeah, but when the subconscious took over, you had no idea of what it was dealing with. Mm-hmm. It dealt with everything. You're still in the car and you're driving pretty damn good. So what was the point? The point was this. Again, when the conscious mind's busy, it can't see what the subconscious is doing. Mm-hmm. That's the same example. And most people are familiar with this. So I say, well, yeah, you've done this yourself. And I say, well, why is it relevant? Because that's the typical day where our conscious mind is so focused as subconscious. So it's a habit. I can't see it. I got to do it. And I say, okay, so I want to change it. I say, well, how'd you get the habit? And I said, repetition. I practiced driving the car. I practiced doing the ABCs. I practiced tying my shoe. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, good. What happened when you finished practicing? I don't have to think about it anymore. Why? It's a habit. It's that's how you got a habit. So in today's world, I love the phrase because it's funny, but it's true. Fake it till you make it. Meaning, you want to be happy? Mm-hmm. Well, you have to habituate happy. You have to say every day, no matter if you're not happy, I don't really care. You have to tell yourself, I am happy. I am happy. You have to repeat it. Habituation, repetition. Why? I'm consciously repeating it every day and looking at my life. My life really sucks. Oh, Bruce, I am happy. I am happy. I'm saying that. I go, well, why are you saying it? Because repetition is how the subconscious mind learns. I say, why is this relevant? And here's the fun part. Because after I've repeated it a number of times, the subconscious says, okay, I am happy. I've learned this. I go, why is it relevant? That 95% of the day, the subconscious function is to make that program real. If my program is I am happy, the function of the mind is to make sure I'm happy. If the program says I'm going to get cancer because I heard that from somebody else, then the function of the mind is to make sure I get cancer because that's the belief I'm working with. And if it says I am a victim and I can't get out of this, then the function of the mind is, look, you see, I'm showing you're a victim and you can't get out of it because I'm running the show. You're a victim. And so what we need to recognize is this. I want to reprogram it. A, hypnosis. B, habituation. Keep repeating it, even if it sounds absurd. You could be dying of cancer. I go, no, I am healthy. I am healthy. And you go, why are you saying that? You're dying of cancer. I say, because I'm training my subconscious. I say, why? Because when it gets the program, I am healthy, what's the job of the subconscious? Manifest the program. That's the job of the subconscious. If the program is positive, fine, then you get a positive result. If the program is negative, you're going to get the negative result because you're going to get whatever the program is. So habituation is, and that's not a sticky note on the refrigerator. That's a suggestion. That's not a habituation. Habituation. You have to religiously do something. And then lastly, excuse me, lastly, there's a new psychology called energy psychology. There's a whole variety of different modalities of this. On my website, brucelipton.com, very simple, brucelipton.com. Under resources of 20 to 30 different belief change modalities called energy psychology. I say, why is it relevant? Because they engage something called super learning. And in super learning, I can download a new belief in 10 minutes. I can change a belief that's affected my life for 50 years, and using super learning, rewrite a program in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And why is this relevant? Because this is what we need now, because we're running out of time, and the world needs us to change our behavior in the first place, and we need to change our own behavior. And so basically I say, how do you do it? And I say, hypnosis, habituation, or one of the new modalities called energy psychology, which is super learning, which opens up the brain to download something like instantly. That's what super learning is all about. So if you engage that, you can download a new behavior instantly.
Wow.
And that's it. Did I run out of things to say?
No, that was wonderful. Thank you. This is just tremendous. We're so grateful.
Well, no, I am so grateful to offer this, because as each one of us takes back our power and each one of us actually starts to live heaven on earth like you did when you fell in love, even if it was only for a week, if you could do that every day of your life and everyone around you was doing that every day of your life, then the simple truth is this, then earth does become heaven. If we're all living as if it's heaven, and the function is to create, the mind is to take that vision and manifest it. If I believe I'm living in heaven, then my world experience will be, what would it be like if I lived in heaven? And being in love is the one time you unconsciously, unknowingly took back power, the equivalent of the red pill. You unknowingly became powerful. And I say, yeah, in 24 hours, you changed your whole demeanor of life after you met this person.
Yeah.
I go, you could have done it in different ways. Didn't have to be with a person. You didn't need to fall in love with a person. You could have fall in love with gardening.
Yeah.
If you're a gardener, you go out in the garden and you're digging the garden. You're having so much fun and the plants are growing and everything. I go, you just manifested heaven on earth for you. Isn't that beautiful? Living in the garden. I go, well, it doesn't have to be another person. Love doesn't. Love is just focusing on something you desire. A pet, a garden, artwork, cleaning up the garage. Really? You say that could be? I say, yeah, because when I'm doing it, I'm creating order and happiness and all that. And I go, well, fine. Then you're cleaning up the garage. No, I got to clean up the damn garage. So if you're cleaning it up, because, wow, that's so much better now. I feel so much better in here. It's so clean. I know where everything is. I go, being in love doesn't have, it could be anything that keeps your conscious mind in front. Because it's when your conscious mind goes in the back is when you become the product of your subconscious program. So, and this is great. And I do this not as, oh, Bruce is a teacher. No, Bruce is a student. This was not my life. And now I've been living a honeymoon with my partner 20 years. So I wake up every day going, wow, it's still here. This is great. I love this place. Hey, I love you. Everything's great. 20 years. And my first 40 or so was miserable social, personal life. Miserable. Traumatizing. But
that's amazing that you've made that change.
Well, it's kind of fun because basically it says we are not victims. That's the whole story. We have to own, no, I am a creator. Well, if you're a creator and you don't like the creation, only the creator is going to change that creation. Oh, I'm the creator. Oh, I'm the one that's going to change it. And I go, yes. But if you didn't know how to change it and you thought just by reading a self-help book, I should get it, and you read the book and it didn't work, it's not because you didn't work. That's because that's not the way that you change the subconscious. Yeah. And therefore, it gets frustrating because we are so smart in our conscious minds about how we should do things and how we should live and the way we would love to have. And I go, yeah, but you're not using that mind 95% of the day. And that's where the limitations come from.
Wow, that's so freeing to know that. And I know that this will benefit so many people. So thank you.
And I know it's real because I'm a student of it. Bruce is a student of cells. I studied the cells. They told me how to do it.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm just going to hit end on the recording, but thank you so much for your time.
Don't end on the recording. We're having such a good time.
I know, right? We could just keep talking.
Yeah. Well, I just really hope that this community understands that there's a time to stop. And I mean, stop with I'm a victim. Because if you believe you're a victim and the function of the mind is to create reality out of your belief, that is the function of the mind. That's why placebo effect works. Right. Placebo effect is, this pill is going to heal me because the doctor told me it's the newest, greatest thing and it's going to heal me. And I take the pill and sure enough, the damn thing healed me. And then I find out it was a sugar pill. And everybody goes, that's called the placebo effect. I said, what is the placebo effect? Mind over matter. You can have the placebo effect in your life, not just in a pill. You have a placebo effect. And that's the result of positive thinking. But then this end cap needs to come on to that, and that is this. It's not the power of positive thinking. It's the power of thinking. I say, what's the difference? I say, because positive thinking can give me a positive result, but negative thinking, which we never talk about on the scientific level, is called the nocebo effect.
Right.
The nocebo effect is a negative thought is equally powerful as a positive thought. It just works in the opposite direction. It's the power of thought. Positive or negative, it's the power of thought. And we have not been emphasizing in our world that, hey, look, your negative thoughts they're gonna just, chop your feet off from under you. Your negative thought is what's disempowering. Your negative thought is manifesting in its expression. So don't think that negative thoughts are just passing through and they're irrelevant. Negative thoughts are being manifested by the brain because that's its function. So, if you feel yourself a victim, that's a negative thought. then guess what? The function of the brain is like, yeah, let me show you you're a victim. So then your thought is real. And that's what the nature is. So for me, the most important thing now in this audience to recognize our thoughts are being turned into reality by the subconscious. That's its job. If our thoughts are not positive, not supporting us, they're not in love, then the function of the mind is to take those opposite things and make those the real expression. Yeah. And when we change our mind, we are empowered. And I don't want people to think they're victims because people say, oh, genes did this and genes did that. And I say, less than 1% of diseases connected to genes, and there's only very few diseases that are directly connected to genes, like multiple sclerosis. Cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy, not MS. MS is not a genetic. Cerebral palsy, Tay-Sachs disease, hemophilia, about 4 more. And if you don't have one of those specific diseases, those are the only diseases that are directly connected to genes. The idea of alcoholism as a gene is like, no, alcoholism is a program of how to defend yourself in a world by observing how your parents did it. Yeah. And it started in utero, and you weren't even conscious. Your machine was recording. A child in utero is learning from the experiences of the mother. I said, what do you mean? I say, look, if you play music to a fetus as it's growing, when that baby is born and you play the music,
it recognizes it.
The music. Yeah. If the father talks to the abdominal wall and talks to the fetus as it's developing, when the baby is born and the father opens his mouth, the baby will know which one the father is because the baby has learned that voice. Okay?
Wow.
So learning is occurring. And I go, yeah, and guess what is important? I'm going on overtime. Can I do that?
It's okay. Yeah, we have about 4 more minutes. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll end it with this. And here's how it goes. You ready? It goes like this. It says, if the baby learns about what's going on in the world, but it's in utero. I said, how can a baby learn what's going on in the world? Because the mother is responding to the world. And the chemistry from her brain that is organizing her body to deal with her beliefs is also going into the fetus. If the mother is an addict, the fetus becomes an addict. Why? Because the chemistry of that behavior, not the knowledge, not the words, not which drug, that's not relevant. It was that when I'm upset, I do this. Oh, that's a learning. So the fetus learns this. No words are involved. I consider behavior like a song. There's lyrics and music. The emotional chemistry is music. So the baby in utero, just like hearing the words, is learning the emotional chemistry, which plays like music. Okay, and so it's born with the song of behavior, but no words. The rest of its life is to take the song and then put lyrics to it.
Okay.
And then they play the same song, but with different lyrics. Okay. So, and they got this because we are learning in the last trimester of pregnancy by anything that repeats itself. So a pattern in a mother of chemistry, emotion, that pattern is learned even before the child's born. And we have to recognize, so we got programmed even before we were born. And then it still comes down to the conclusion. You want to know what the program is? Just look at your life. That's what the program is. And if you don't like it, auto-hypnosis, good.
Yes.
Repetition, good. Energy psychology, very good.
Excellent. Thank you.